Mic test, guys. Can the chat tell us if this sounds good?
Are we there? Can they see us? Can they hear me? Am I muted? Take 3. Right, I think we're here. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are. I'm Jim Bojo, and welcome to Going Critical. This week, we're going to be looking at everything from mobile phones killing you to Gay Jesus, as well as your weekly top-up of Lights in the Sky with Pete Berube, and our newest panelist. And we've got Tony's content creator, who is going to be fantastic this week. I'm looking forward to it immensely. You've probably met this guy before, but definitely going to be worth a look. Now, sadly, our guest for the week, Curve Pimp, has basically been caught in the middle of a whirlwind. His weather prevents him from joining us, but we're going to make sure he's along. If not next week, then as soon as the clouds have cleared, because we've got a great subject he wants to talk about, and we're looking forward to it. So let's see. In the meantime, well, we've got plenty to talk about this week anyway. I think we'll muddle through somehow. And the first thing at the top of the list always, though, is for me to go around the table and see who's actually here. So first of all, we've got Anthony Bailey. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm here. Yep.
Hey, hello, man. Good to see you. We've also got Carissa Brock. Hello. How are you doing?
Hello. I have the camera today.
Hello, Carissa.
Hey,
Robert here the third, pulling the levers and pushing the buttons. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
I messed up, everybody. We're back on schedule. Sorry about that. Hope I didn't hurt anybody's ears.
Oh, mate, it's fine. No, actually, he's just done an amazing job. He's like the genius of the buttons. Has figured out what was wrong in about 15 seconds flat. It's quality. Ponky, hello, mate. How are you doing this week?
I'm good.
Hello, buddy. How are you? Right, that's brilliant news. Sorry, I'm getting so far ahead of myself now. I'm just trying to rush ahead in the script. Where are we? Let's stop and think what we're doing. Poor Ponky, hello, mate. How are you doing this week? He's gone silent again.
I'm still good.
Excellent.
You just asked me.
Sorry, and we've got. I know. I just got lost for a moment and I panicked. Let's try again.
That's okay. That's cool.
Things up badly as well. Zapostate, hello, mate. How are you doing?
I am
Roboting out. Oh dear.
You roboted
awesome.
Z. Great start.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those shows. It's going to be a show for the ages, you guys.
Oh, man. We're all basically on fire and panicking. Okay, finally, last of all, we have got Pete Berube, our latest panelist. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, thank you. Now let's see. We've got, well, you know me, I'm Jim Bojo. I talk to people. Don't forget, all of the links to our sources are in the description. We want to make a careful point of pointing that out this week. All of our different videos and selections and things to go and research are there. So make sure you go and have a look at that. If you've got any comments or questions throughout the show, please address them to Going Critical. You'll be talking to Zapostate this evening, and he'll be getting those questions and comments to us. Yeah, I think that's basically the housekeeping done. We said hello. Let's go straight to our first segment. It's Tony Bailey. We've got content creators. Tony, who have we got this week?
Well, this week we got Irish Stew. Last week I presented you a musician, and this week is another musician that's in our community. It's Irish Stew. You all know him pretty much. He writes some of his own music, and he also plays a lot of covers. I've slammed a video together of some of his own music so we don't get hit with copyrights, and a bit of video from his group too. So please enjoy.
Wonderful.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much indeed. Bobby, let's hit the VT.
All right, so they should still be able to hear it, but
Once upon a time, there were 3 little flirts.
Oh yeah, motherfucker, my blues are so down. I'm yelling about stupid things and conspiracies. Gonna get me red, fluffy. Gonna get me red, fluffy. Look at me, I'm red, fluffy. Oh my god, I'm red, fluffy.
Turn the fuck around. Hey, fuck you, piece of shit. The fuck did you say to me? You fucking want some of me, asshole? The fucking what? You stay gone or you be gone.
Oh, I will bust a cap in your ass.
You lost all your RC privileges. Turn the fuck around.
Okay, Jim.
Okay, fantastic stuff. Well, look, okay. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for putting up with that slightly hectic start. Obviously, everything's gone wrong at the last minute, but I think we're all sat in our seats. We've put out the fires, and we're pretty much ready to go. That is, as far as I'm concerned, Irish Stew's one of the sort of the old guard of this community. I've been meeting him in the side chats just forever now. If you don't know who he is, get over to his channel, obviously. I think the music's definitely worth a look at. Basically, what more can I say? Get over there, like, subscribe, do the thing, because it's definitely worth it. And he's been around so long now, I'm surprised more people haven't already.
Do we have a link to his channel that someone could put in the side chat?
Oh, absolutely. There's also a link in our description for those who want to go mining later after the show. But yeah, if someone wants to stick that in the side chat, that would be brilliant. Thank you very much. Now, let's see. Next part of the show. We've dealt with our new creator. Next, we're going to go on to our first story of the night. That's Apostate brought this one to us. Bobby, if you could put up the first video, that'll give us an idea what's going on, as Apostate can pick up the story.
Alrighty.
Okay, that's brilliant. Now, that video is fantastic, and I just love the music as well. Now, Apostate, why don't you tell us exactly what's going on here? This is a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah, you're coming through.
Okay, cool. I got my own technical difficulty.
And with that,
video clip, by the way, was courtesy of NASA's Guard Center.
Nightmares. You disappeared there for a moment, buddy, just at the perfect moment. Do you want to give that one more go?
Of NASA's Goddard Center. And the story behind it is it turns out some dweeby kid discovered quite a bitchin' planet on his third day of his internship with NASA. Wolf was 17 and in his junior year of high school discovered TOI 1338b while working in NASA's Planet Hunter TESS Citizen Science Project. And TESS is the name of a specialized planet survey satellite. I'm holding on?
Yeah, hold on a second. Is it just me or is Apostate lagging?
No, Apostate is lagging out. There's these big yawning gaps where you wonder if you're going to hear what he says next. But we are getting to the end of the sentence. I
about 8 seconds out of every 10.
Well, yeah, kind of. Ladies and gentlemen, I can only apologize. The gods do not want us to go on tonight for some reason.
Quick question,
the internet in my house has been gone. Computers break. The OBS has been playing up. What a nightmare. We will try, though, because the show must go on, to pull this all together and make some sort of coherent show. Apostate, do you want to... Is he here? I see his camera's locked out. I think he's gone.
Robert's just died.
No, I'm here.
I saw him. Oh, you're here? Ooh. Okay. Do you think God is smiting us because we're going to run the story about the gay Jesus later on?
It's true.
Stay tuned for that. We've got insightful insights. I mean, if any of us are left alive. Oh God.
Oh my God.
Sorry about that,
Yeah.
guys.
Are you okay?
Stormy outside.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Excellent news. Right, let's see if we can wrangle this into some sort of shape. Zaparstate, first of all, why don't you try and pick up the tail where you were before and let us know where you were at. You might even need to start again, to be honest.
All right, you can hear me. I was going through it's the TESS Citizen Science Project. And TESS is the name of a specialized satellite that stands for Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, for dips in brightness, which could be caused by transitory planets eclipsing the star. Basically, NASA lists randos off the street to look through the data gathered by the TESS and look
I'm sorry.
for patterns. And enough that is privileged asked down on day 3 and looked at the data for TOI 1338, which was a known binary system, and not just a binary system, but an eclipse.
Guys, I'm sorry. I need to interrupt.
Yeah.
Z, can you please disconnect and reconnect, dude? Nope, we can't hear anything you're saying, man.
I'll tell you what, right? What I'm going to do for the moment, because me and Tony were talking about this quite a lot earlier. Tony found me some really good research material. I'm going to put him on the spot right now and ask him to tell us a little bit about what he picked up, because we actually found 2 conflicting stories. At first, we were reading about pretty much the same story. This kid who, after being an intern for a few months, a kid who'd not been there particularly long, had found this exoplanet, and we did loads and loads of research on it, and then realized it was a different kid. So we then had to go back and do the whole lot again with the better sources. And I know Tony's a little bit au fait on this. So Tony, give us a rundown of what you think this story is so far.
Well, there's 2 stories actually. The one is the NASA internist who did find a similar planet, but he says it's 1,300 light years away. And then there was a young astronomer named Brian Wu, who also found a binary sun system with a Jupiter-sized planet at 90 million miles away from the suns, but only 400 to 500 light years away.
Not bad. So, like, it basically seems like, as far as I understand it, he'd been doing some slightly other subject, but he was taking part in this as an internship over his summer period. It was like getting, plus points for his education. I'm not quite sure how the system works, but the point is he was doing this as an extracurricular thing almost. And he was only there for this really limited amount of time and just noticed this thing almost immediately, essentially, where he saw that the data was following the pattern he was expected to look for in the case of an exoplanet. The professor who he was working with at the time basically helped him corroborate over a period of several months exactly what was sort of happening here, and they were in fact absolutely right. Now, before I go on, we've had a new panelist who's managed to jump in. It is friend of the show and possibly its savior today. It's ETC. Hello, Jay. How you doing, man?
I'm good, guys. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you wanted to sort of add so far? I know that we've only just kicked off, but have you heard about this story at all?
No, I haven't. This is the first for me.
I mean, I think it's heartbreaking for people who've been working there for years, right? People who spent decades of their life putting together these telescopes and making these observations and finding the first few, and basically a kid strolls in and manages to find one in about 5 minutes. That would break my heart. Is the prostate back in the room? Has he joined us, or is he? Oh, hello, mate. What do you? Right, have you got anything more you'd like to add?
I'm gonna try.
He's got time. He can take this from the
I'm
start
not sure how
again.
far you guys got, but
just take your part up from the start again.
Sounds like
we got 2. Wait, I'm gonna go for Bobby first. What's that, mate?
I was saying
all good. Sounds like you found an article.
Oh, we got huge delay and huge roboting from Zaparstate. I'm sorry, buddy, but I think your internet connection is not having it today. You might have to drop out and come back in again or play around, but we'll have to come back to this subject in a bit because we're just going to mess it up if we don't have the man who did the plan.
We'll just move it on.
Absolutely.
And we'll come back to it.
Well, the next one up on the list is 5G. This was my pet subject today. It's not a very big one, to be honest, but it's quite fun. First of all, I think we'll watch a little clip of video that Port Punky helped me put together earlier. Bobby, can we see that?
I'm sorry, we're looking for the 5G one, right?
That's right, absolutely.
Okay, coming in.
They are blue phosphor modulating lights. They are illegal. They cause retinal cell stress, kill pollinators. That's the main reason why there's no birds, because they're dying because there's nothing for them to eat. The stress is on the trees. So, good sign. We've got a massive cover-up going on, multi-million-pound cover-up. They're having to change those transmitters on these illegal lights. Are they going to put a diffuser on these lights to make them less toxic to life? Now, this was the project, multi-million-pound project that was carried out by Gateshead Council. No environmental impact analysis, no public consultation. They just rocked up, put them in breach of the law. It's malfeasance in a public office. Conspiracy, look at the bark. Look at the state of the trees. If that doesn't tell everybody everything they need to know, this is from your friendly council with our secret United Nations Resilient Cities Agenda plan.
Quite mad. Now, I'd spent quite a lot of time trying to pull out any sort of reason from this whatsoever, and the best that I can come up with is either that he's concerned that the LED lights themselves are having some sort of problem, or what seems more likely, he's referring to the transmissions, the wireless transmitters that are on the top. Now, the closest thing I found to that is basically the fears at the moment that are surrounding 5G. Now, it's being rolled out all across the United States and most of Western Europe at the moment. And it's a form of wireless where essentially the frequency of the transmission is much, much greater. Its amplitude is also greater, and it operates in a sort of a set of specifications which are much more powerful than previously used. The reason that they seem to be concerning to people is because they basically qualify as a microwave transmission. So all sorts of claims have been put out, as you've just seen, by people claiming things like brain cancer and behavioral changes and general malaise and ill health, stuff like that. The problem with that is that over the course of the last sort of, at the moment, 8 or 9 years, a series of very sort of complex studies have been done into this by people like the World Health Organization, the National Institute for Clinical Health. There's one which has got an acronym 6 letters long, which is something like the IINRCE, but I could never quite commit to memory. And each one of them has gone through the studies and the data available to try and work out exactly what the risk is from 5G. Right now, the sensible answer, it seems to be, after collating all of this data, is we have no specific reason to think it is definitely safe. However, there is no reason to think that it is specifically dangerous either. See, the power outputs that are being cited are essentially about 1/10 of the power of UV light from the sun on a sunny day, and don't even begin to compare to the level of electromagnetic radiation that we're sort of surrounded by in our daily lives anyway. There seems to be no reason to think this is going to cause any problems at all. Now, that's the sort of the data-y stuff, but I want to know if anyone's heard about these 5G sort of problems, because I can see it as being the next big conspiracy like chemtrails. ETC, what do you reckon? Have you heard about 5G?
Oh yeah, 5G to me with the whole cancer thing is like, really? Do you guys even study anything? it's the same thing as 4G and 3G. It's just a little faster.
Absolutely. I think the bad science that's been pointed at this every time is it's got a higher, now it's frequency that's the important thing. It's basically operating at about 25 up to 25 gigahertz rather than the 2.4 that we're all used to. So what that means is that the radiation is much higher energy, but it's still not ionizing radiation. It's still classified in the safe variety that doesn't have enough energy to actually affect your matter in any reasonable way. And I said this to Zaposte during the week when we were talking about this. If you calculate the actual level of radiation that you're getting, you are at a greater risk watching whatever you are cooking in the microwave. So you stick something in the microwave and leave it running and you just watch it. You're getting more problems from that than you will ever get from the transmissions of 5G that I've ever seen. I don't know if anyone else read into this at all, because you've all been quite busy with your own projects, but I wondered if anyone else had any thoughts, because before we move on, I have got a little bit of a neat demonstration. So anyone want to chime in with anything?
I do. So the guys suggesting that the little things on top of the light were wireless transmitters of some form, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Well, that is not what those are. Those are photocells. They independently detect light, and when the light is no longer detected, it opens the circuit powering the light. It's what turns the lights on at sundown and turns them back off at sunup. So that's debunked.
He said they've designed wireless transmitters that look exactly like photocells.
Of course.
Disguise them. I don't know why I didn't like climb up and get one.
That sounds very expensive.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's one thing. But if he's got like the fate of humanity right there in a streetlight, it seems like, I know it would be illegal to go get one, but
he needs to take that. He needs to take one for the team.
Yeah, I mean, right? But
save us all, man.
I guess, you know.
He just make a YouTube video to make a difference. What a lame.
He solved it.
What
I don't understand.
dummy.
There's a lot of
what about that
around my city that says it's got 5G with a no sign, and it says less radiation, please. But I don't understand, why don't they just turn off 3G and 2G, and then that'll be the same amount as 5G, right?
They added up, right?
Done the math. Is what you're hired for.
It's sound logic, but I don't think that's how it works.
But I'm sure in 10 years, looking back, we'll see that like a massive spike in everyone dying horribly of everything.
Oh, certainly.
Oh yeah, when 12G comes out, we're all screwed.
Yes. Why 5? Why is 5 so bad? 4 was there this furore when 4G went live?
For once, can we just have nothing on the horizon? It's always something that everybody's just, this is gonna kill us all.
Well, the best number for that, it is the one number that I remember from these reports, because it came up several times, was the same ballpark figure, which was that instances of brain tumors have increased in the time period since they were reviewing sort of this phone period by 34%, which sounds quite impressive. But then you realize that mobile phone use has increased by 5,000% in the same time. So consequently, there's no real correlation at all. Like, we should be expecting pretty much everyone to be dead at this point. The entire Western world would just have brain cancer and die because we've all got phones. I think it's demonstrable. It's not really a problem. There was one last claim he made in the video that I wanted to point to, him complaining about the quality of the bark on the trees in that urban environment that he lived in. I just thought, those trees have looked bloody terrible ever since someone parked them right next to a road. I don't think it's got anything to do with microwave signals. It's probably the Scania lorries that drive past every 5 minutes. I don't know. Thoughts?
Squirrels.
Yeah, too much dog pee.
Yeah, the exhaust from vehicles coming by is not great for the air there. So that's a great point.
Absolutely.
How many dogs? How many dogs?
Oh yeah. I never even thought of that. You're absolutely right. Now, look, just because I'm a public-spirited individual, and Port Punky is too, we came up with a little plan to tell people how they could protect themselves against these electromagnetic waves if they were still concerned about it.
Yeah, just in case.
Absolutely. Now, you all know this, right? This is the that's the tinfoil hat, right? We know it well. This is how. There you go. The problem with the tinfoil hat is that the tinfoil hat only protects the brain.
Well, can you explain why a tinfoil hat would actually help in this situation?
Absolutely. So what I've created essentially is a thing called a Faraday cage, or sometimes called a Faraday box. And what it is I've created a substrate of metal which goes all the way around the outside of my head. And any electromagnetic sort of interference is transmuted along the surface, right? There's actually some very complicated maths which explain this, but a quick look into Wikipedia will show you the places to go. But essentially it produces this area around the outside of which electrical fields find it much harder to penetrate. Now the thing is, if these signals are everywhere, just protecting my head, that's no good. Sure, I won't get brain cancer now, but what about hand cancer? Right? Yeah.
Hand cancer. You can get brain cancer of the hand.
Yeah, well, even the worst kind of brain cancer. So I've decided that I'm going to show you just how to protect yourself completely. Now, this might take a minute, so I'll get you to go on to the next thing before I finish, and then we'll come back to me in a little bit. So just for the moment, we're going to move on to the next subject, which is Pete Baroob, our new panelist, has frankly got some brilliant stuff for us today. Pete Berube. First of all, let's watch the link in the video we've got for him, and then we'll go to him immediately after that.
So, ready for it?
We're ready.
All right, here we go.
Hey. All right, so here we have Beetlejuice. I just want to give everybody a quick update. So here on the left, that's what we would typically see as Beetlejuice, and then what we've been noticing recently is on the right, it's a slight dimming. It's less than half a degree of magnitude, just so everybody knows. And also found out that there is no precedent of a star dimming before it goes supernova. So I really don't think we have too much to worry about, but we're going to have some fun and see if I can go get there, and we'll find out for sure.
So has it done this before? Is this a common thing for Beetlejuice?
It actually is known as a variable star. So yes, it's been slightly brighter and it's been dim before. So there's a 495 year cycle that it goes through, and then there's another 39 year cycle that it goes through, like within the other cycle. So it does all kinds of things.
Okay,
so I got a question real quick for you, Pete. If Beetlejuice does go supernova, do we have to worry about it?
No, we're too far away. It's 642 light years away. So, and it's not, it won't be strong enough for it to do anything to us.
It'll just be kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, we'll see it at night, and depending, we might see it during the day. But we'll definitely see it at night for a couple weeks.
We'll all be dead from the 5G by then anyway.
Yeah, the 5G is
So this is dimming more than usual, just to clarify. Oh,
yep.
Nigia said in chat.
Yeah, so let me do this here. So if we can get off that picture.
All righty.
All right, so that is Orion there.
Yep.
Just so get everybody familiar. And that one is Beetlejuice. So that's the shoulder of Orion. And so I'm going to get on the magic internet spaceship and start heading that way. So I will see you guys. Get back to me in a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
That seems reasonable.
Yep.
I wonder if Jim is still with us.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can.
There he is.
I wanted to show everyone the best way to protect yourself, obviously, in the event of a mad EMP pulse or just protection from 5G. You will need about 7.5 meters. That's approximately 15 feet of tin foil. Approximately 1/3 of a millimeter should do it. You can see I'm here. I've also got a full bodysuit and my arms are completely coated. It isn't great for the environment, if I'm honest, but you've got to be safe. So if you do want to protect yourselves, this is the way to go. I think for the moment, it's probably time we went straight back to our man on the spot, or at least in the middle of space, Pete Berube, who is going to give us a high-speed tour of the imminent explosion at Beetlejuice. Bobby.
Back to Pete.
All right, so here's Beetlejuice. Getting a little closer now. I'm at I've shaved off about 100 light years.
Wow.
Still hasn't exploded yet. So back to you.
You got that quite
Great news. I'm glad to see it hasn't exploded yet, because we've all been worrying for a while now. It could go any minute. Oh dear. Right, my eyes are unprotected. Hello. Where were we? I'm completely lost now. We talked to Pete Berube. Look, that's some great information. Look, Beetlejuice is one of those things that's fascinated me ever since I was a kid, because We know about this potential nova that happened a few hundred years ago, and there was a Chinese one supposedly reported before that. We have reports that are pretty reliable. They looked up in the sky comparing the Chinese reports and found a nebula, for instance. I can't remember which one exactly. But basically, if Betelgeuse were to go in our lifetime, it would be the first time in history we properly imaged it and we could learn about how that process actually happens, right? I think that'd be fascinating. Anyone else?
I've been fascinated with Betelgeuse. I've been fascinated with Betelgeuse ever since I was like a sophomore in high school. The first time I saw a size comparison video on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
where they would showing you the Earth, and then it would show you the next biggest thing, and the next biggest thing, and then the sun, and then it'd blow out huge to Betelgeuse. I'm like, oh my god, dude!
Oh yeah, the Corridor crew on YouTube did a really great video showing that the different sizes of planets and stars and stuff.
That blew my mind. That was actually my first real demonstration of just how the size of astronomical objects in comparison, because even as humans it's impossible for us to really grasp just how big Earth is.
Oh yeah,
and then when you see something like that in a level of grandeur that your mind just literally cannot wrap itself around, it puts you into perspective pretty quickly.
Well, I tried to work this out. Pete Bruby, you can probably help me on this. Basically, at some point in our sun's lifetime, it's going to turn into a red giant of sorts, and it's going to expand right out, and it will actually cross the point where Earth is now currently orbiting it. So if you've ever seen an image of the solar system that's in some sort of representative size, the sun's enormous compared to the Earth, but it's not the size of the Earth's actual orbit. That is unimaginably huge. And yet compared to something like Betelgeuse, that's still a pretty minimal thing. Pete, what's the largest star that we know of? Can you know that one off by heart?
Well, it used to be VY Canis Majoris, but there was a new one that's just a little bit bigger than it. But that thing is like billions of times larger than our sun.
Right.
So
it's just unimaginably huge, right?
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense.
We must destroy this.
Yeah, so if you want a comparison real quick to Betelgeuse, if you take a basketball as the sun, the Earth is a pea, right? So then if you take Betelgeuse as the basketball, the sun is a pea.
Wow.
If that makes any sense. That's how big Betelgeuse is.
No, I've got you, absolutely. Jesus, that's enormous. I mean, the mind just boggles. You can hear me struggling to think of something to say because it's just bloody enormous. How are things? And yet, as Bobby quite rightly points out, the Earth's kind of massive. It may be tiny compared to all of these things, but it's pretty hard for us to work out just how big the Earth is that we're sat on, which is, space is too big to comprehend. It's
we can't do it
in the extreme. Just can't be done.
We can't do it. Our minds can't put together the distances and sizes.
Well, one day I got bored and I figured out if I stood at the South Pole and at the North Pole, how many of me would it take to go straight through the cord to meet, diameter? And it was if I'm 6 foot tall, so I did all the math, and it was 6.7 million of me standing head to toe would be the Earth in diameter.
Good Lord.
That's doable.
Yeah. There's this sort of weird, the numbers work out in odd ways, because on the one hand, if you were to pile all of the human beings in the world in the Grand Canyon, you'd obviously go to jail for a very long time. But assuming all that happened,
who would take you to jail? You're the only one left.
The entire pile of humanity would barely reach out of the top. It would barely make a cone a mile and a bit high. Yet, if you were to ask all those same people to stand in a line holding hand by hand, you'd reach to the moon and back several times. So it's really hard to fathom just how much humanity there is in terms of just weight, essentially. Even then, that massive amount compared to we're just going to go into the endless size of space, aren't we? Space is really big, people. You should research it. It's really big. It's quite cool.
Enormously huge.
Yeah. I think Douglas Adams said it quite well at the start of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's another thing you should definitely get out and read if you haven't already. Does anyone want to interject at this point? Because I think we're just about ready to jump on to the next topic with Port Ponky, but there's probably something I've missed. So now's your chance. Anyone?
Well, I just wanted to say I was interested in Beetlejuice since the movie came out.
Ew.
That's where I thought. That's where I thought Bobby was going.
That is one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, but you know that joke just seemed a little too. It was right here at eye level. I wasn't gonna.
Whoa.
leave that one alone.
Oh, he's cold.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I do have a couple of chat comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
According this is from the 5G part of the conversation. The real non sequitur said the only problem with 5G is that it will interfere with weather forecasting, which is something that I had heard about too.
Which who really cares because they suck at forecasting the weather anyway.
Bobby.
That's very negative. They do a pretty good job.
All right, they do a decent job.
C4 said they should pattern those tinfoil hats and sell them. There's apparently a big market for them. And I just wanted to say I'm surprised that some Alex Jones knockoff has not already done that.
Wow.
Right? It's bound to be. As you know, someone probably has. We just didn't find them yet. That's what it is. I want to go to... Is Apostate still with us? I know he's been in and out a little bit, but can he hear us? Is he even in the room?
Z, are you with us, my man?
Oh,
I think he's trying.
Oh, it's such a damn shame.
He's not here.
Yeah, he's trying. He's working on it.
Well, not to worry. Look,
no man left behind, ladies. No man left behind.
Yeah, we will constantly be trying to get him in. Don't you panic. Hopefully he'll be in by the end of the show. At this point, we got one last thing on the table to talk about. We left it to last because there's a couple of items here, and they're pretty hilarious. Poor Ponky, you're going to be the man to lead us through this. Why don't you tell us what we got after Bobby plays the video?
Real quick, Jim Bojo, check me in Discord.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple topics, but I don't know which order I put them in. So if Bobby plays the video,
Do you know what? Before we go to the next one, sorry, Paul. Do you mind if I hold off for a second? Because you know what? We've had a guest here for a while, and I've had precious little chance to talk to him, and it's not, frankly, kind enough to him. So, ETC, buddy, how are you doing so far?
I'm good. I was just letting you guys know I got about 5 minutes, and I got to bounce because I got to work early this week. But yeah, this is fun.
Oh, mate, I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I seen you guys lost your guys, so I figured I would say, hey, I'll jump in, see what I can give while I'm available. So I always enjoy coming on. So
yeah, we're glad to have you, man.
Oh, mate, we love having you on.
You might be good for the next segment. So don't good work.
You have how much?
What are your thoughts so far on this stuff, man? Because we've talked about, we've had a little bit of a chance to talk about NASA and 5G, and of course Pete Berube and the Beetlejuice stuff. That was fascinating as ever. Have you got anything you haven't had a chance to say yet?
No, not really. I mean, the whole 5G thing. I never understood that one with the whole cancer and going to cause all these issues. It's just it's a faster form of 4G. What's the issue? I mean, everybody's running basically on 4G now, so it's just faster.
You know? Right. I think the word radiation. People say that word radiation.
Yeah.
It's like they're mixing up radioactive radiation and electromagnetic radiation.
Yeah, they're not taking into consideration the radiation that will hurt you and the ones that won't hurt you.
Well, do you have a moment to get a word in on the next topic, or you got to go before we move into it?
No, I can go. I can probably hang up a little bit for the next topic.
All right, let's do it. You all ready, Jim?
Yeah, you go ahead, man. Awesome.
Alrighty. Poor Ponky was leading us into it, or just play the video?
Yeah, there's a video.
All right, here we go.
So what happens in a workshop?
Everyone gets off.
What the fuck are you doing to Chief?
What we try to do at Goop is to explore ideas that may seem out there or too scary.
Are you guys ready to go out in the field and make a ruckus?
Just another day at the office. I had an exorcism.
Oh, wow.
I went through years of therapy in about 5 hours.
I started to feel like a panic attack coming on.
She knew something that my husband didn't even know.
You want to talk about the vulva?
Naked in a room with a bunch of women? I don't know if I have the guts.
You've never seen yourself?
No.
Why not?
This
Cause it's dangerous.
It's unregulated. Should I be scared? We're here one time, one life. How can we really milk the shit out of this?
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, so Port Punky, why don't you tell us about Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina?
Oh Jesus!
It's the star of a new Netflix docu-series called The Goop Lab, where Gwyneth Paltrow and her people that hang around with her explore different medical things that Gwyneth Paltrow has presumably not just made up, but maybe she has. Who knows? It's not out yet, so that's just the trailer. That's all there is, but it's on Netflix from 24th of January. It's a 6-part series. It's already been completely shit-canned by the critics because some of the claims she's making maybe don't have much in the way of sort of scientific or medical backing. Yep. And that by itself is a whole can of worms, because Goop is Gwyneth Paltrow's brand, and it's been around for about 12 years. So this series is just the latest thing in the Goop saga.
If you guys tuned into my stream, I know Carissa did, and Jimbo was there a little bit last night. We actually talked about Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina-scented candle.
Oh yeah, that's coming up because I got some tabs open.
So
wow.
Oh boy.
For that specifically, so designing a fragrance isn't trivial. You can't just do it unless you know what you're doing. So,
but how do we know that that's really how it smells?
We have to go based on what she said, and I don't care.
Did she design the fragrance herself, or did she get someone to design the fragrance? And if so, how did that person know what the fragrance was supposed to be?
They're just sitting there smelling Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina while they tinker with,
No, okay, Bobby. What we say before the stream? What we say? No, okay. So I actually looked this up because I wanted to find out exactly how this came about, right? Bobby?
Wow, that's a lot. $75 apparently. Sorry, Chris, but that was a decent interjection. Jesus, what? That's a lot of money. Sorry, Carissa. Sorry, do carry on, please.
No, you're good. Okay, so it is a $75 candle. They were developing the candle, and when she smelled it, she blurted out that it smells like a vagina. So they basically went off of what she said, which was that it smells like her vajayjay, and they just ran with it and probably raised the price just based on the fact that it was going to be based on her vagina. And
it
I
might
looked
be the
up
greatest marketing trick of all time, because how many of those people bought that candle just to find out?
Oh yeah.
Is it?
Well, I mean, the stuff that they use in it is normal things that you would find in a candle, like the cedar absolutes, the amberette seed, which is it was a substitute that people use in exchange for, was it animal fat, something like that. There's things that are in there that are normally used with candle products, and there's nothing really super special about it other than the fact that what they've used is a combination of flowery and musky odors, which, okay. So I don't really see how that,
How do we know?
We're not just being vulgar about this, though, are we? Because the fact is, Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina does seem to have come up several times in relation to her Goop store. She's had items pulled from the shelves. She's had stores closed. Different countries have had various different reactions. Poor Punky, you were telling me about this.
Oh, there's a long list, and I don't recall the details. She has been sued successfully by a group called the Truth in Advertising, I think, for misleading claims about what her products do, or what a specific one of her products is capable of doing. She has had products such as vagina eggs that tighten up your vagina by putting an egg in there.
Now look, there's so much of this to go through. I'll let you get back in a minute, but ETC has just told us that he's basically got to leave right now, so we can't go without saying goodbye to him.
I believe you.
Sorry, mate. ETC, how are you doing? But like, apparently you've got to disappear now, right?
Yeah, I got to take off. I got to go to work. They got me working early again this week. So, but we do go into depth on my stream about the candle. So if you guys want a little more take on that one, you can jump over to my last night's stream. Chris will tell you it was the candle popped up.
Oh my God, it was great.
Stream.
ETC, drop the link in the chat before you bounce, man.
Absolutely, I will. Yeah. Get that link down.
But yeah, it's the whole Gwyneth Paltrow thing is just, I don't know why anybody believes any of the crap she spouts out of her mouth.
Do you see how much money she's making off of that Goop magazine? And
oh yeah, she makes a ton of money. It's ridiculous.
She doesn't even need to act anymore, man.
If she wasn't that good of an actor to begin with.
She was getting paid for it, whether or not she was good, you know.
Yeah,
a lot.
So, but yeah, it was the link for my videos in the chat. It pops up. It's the dumbass tweet of the day. So it's right towards the beginning of the stream.
Yeah,
that we talk about that. We blame Raven for that because she's the one that brought it to my attention. So,
Raven.
It was a perpetual theme throughout the entire stream, and I was laughing so hard because every single time there was a joke. Because there's inevitably, when you have Jen on a live stream, there's going to be jokes. If a vagina is brought up on as a topic, and Jen is on that panel, there's going to be jokes throughout that entire live stream, and it I had me in giggles. It was great.
Damn it, Jen. Well, One Ring was just as bad. But anyways, guys, I got to take off. I got to get to work. So thanks for having me on. I'm more than willing to jump on and help you guys out whenever you need me. So
thank you, my friend.
Good luck with the gay Jesus.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, everyone watching, get to his channel, sub, like, and watch that damn stream.
It was funny. You've got just if you just watch through the dumbass tweet of the week. I mean, yeah. So, but we do talk about soothsayers and fortune tellers too. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. So all right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Man. He always manages to bring order to this chaos, doesn't he? He's going to have to come on more often, I think. Now, poor Bunky, I just cut straight across.
Back to the list of things that has emanated from Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. So yeah, that was the egg that she got sued for, I think.
Yes, the egg, the refreshing egg.
Yeah, because you can't. I don't think you can use a weighted egg to tighten your vagina. I just don't think that's how it works.
Seems the opposite.
Apparently.
May I interject here slightly?
Yeah.
Please do, Tony.
Yes, that's the thing with those eggs. When you slide them in place,
yeah,
a woman, of course, needs to use her PC muscle to hold it there, and this muscle during sex tightens up, and that's what gives it a tighter feel.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the court system and the gynecologists that were.
Well, now to be fair, I can explain a bit because at the time I recall this, the question was not actually about that specific claim. The reason that she was sued and it was taken off the market was because she made a whole bevy of claims. So a bunch of which were nonsense and in fact the reverse of true in some cases. And I think the thing that was pointed out most of all was you shouldn't really store things in your vagina. So please remember this.
What?
Useful household tip. Don't just leave stuff in there. It harbors bacteria which can then cause problems. There are a whole string of reasons why putting an egg-shaped stone inside you is not actually a very good idea, medically speaking.
So where the hell am I supposed to store my egg-shaped stone? Seriously. There's no freedom in this country anymore.
You raise a good point.
I have a suggestion, but I don't know if you'll like it.
There's eggs aside. There are many more vaginal and some non-vaginal products that Gwyneth Paltrow has advocated for, like putting steam in your vagina, putting coffee in your vagina, or coffee. Is that an enema? You could put it in your vagina if you want, I guess. I mean, that's not a medical. God, what else? There's
It's
lots
a
of
variety of liquids and potions to be inserted from all angles at all times in order to flush, cleanse, detox, and otherwise re-injuvenate, or some other such ridiculous word.
You got to
The
take
fact
care of that
is, though,
vajay.
You'll end
at
up
best,
smelling
this
like a
stuff is
burning
basically a
candle.
salve, right? At best, this stuff is a salve, some sort of like mild ointment. And at worst, it's mildly toxic or unhealthy for you. It's just a random list of odd inventions that she's been selling at great profit to people. And thankfully, at least a few countries have said, no, just no. And quietly
Marble
go their
Girl
way.
says they're in the chat says that those things are porous.
Mm-hmm.
That's gross.
What things? Vaginas?
The
No,
vagina eggs
the
are
egg.
porous. They're made of a porous material, so you can't sanitize them very well.
I
And
remember
she
she
was
was telling me
marketing
about
them.
that.
And she was marketing them as being able to regulate females' hormones and negate menstrual cramps, and to even treat things like endometriosis. And so you do when you have so there is an issue that there's a type of toxic I guess toxic shock is what you can call it. When you have when you're using menstrual items that are internal, you cannot keep something in your vajayjay for an extended period of time without it causing a lot of toxic issues, which can make an already painful situation like cramps and even endometriosis even worse and way more serious. So what she was doing was she was selling this item that in truth was actually going to make it way more medically serious of an issue than it was going to do anything to fix it.
Outright harm.
Marvel Girl is pointing another thing. Marvel Girl is pointing out the hilarity of 4 men discussing vaginal health.
Right? Girl, you should have heard the conversation before we went live. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Well, we
That's
had
gross,
this chat
guys.
beforehand as well, though, Carissa. We had to basically say, it's pretty difficult for us to go, okay, Carissa, so can you speak on behalf of your entire gender for us, please? What do you think about Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina? It's not the sort of question you can easily ask someone. I'm glad you've done all the research, though. You've got all the notes. You've got all the most interesting facts. So I should turn to you one more time. What else you've got sort of here that you want to bring to the table?
Nothing other than there was the stuff that Ponky already touched on with the lawsuits and stuff like that, and the very woo style. It is woo. That's it. That's all she's peddling woo, and she's doing it from a platform that she established through her acting and her prestige. So it's even more dangerous than it is the YouTube woos that we critique and stuff on different live streams. She's doing something that is actually very, very harmful, that is on the level of people who are anti-vax, who are alternative medicine. That she did. It's, to me, the candle is the least of my concerns. Like, if you want a candle that smells like a vajayjay, go for it. I'm not going to judge. But when you start peddling things like porous things that you claim will help deal with very severe issues that are debilitating in some cases, and then you have to turn around and get sued to have it taken off the market because you refuse to acknowledge the damage that you're doing to your own customers. I think that her company's not taking seriously the level of influence that she has and the amount of damage that can come to their consumers from what they're doing.
You have to wonder how much she believes what she's doing, though, because a lot of it may be made up, but it's just as possible that she's learned this stuff from various life coaches and gurus, and she believes it implicitly and follows that same sort of anti-vax line of, big pharma's just trying to shut me down from all these alternative medicines. Like, how far do you think she knows what she's doing?
But hold up, like, Irish Stew knows she has not run out of money. Gwyneth Paltrow is loaded. And like, I want to expound on Chris is right that that's Gwyneth Paltrow. She's got plenty of people who look up to her, and she's sitting there purporting these things to, this is how I'm me. Do this, and you can live like Gwyneth Paltrow. And that's dangerous, especially when, like she said, some of these conditions that she's claiming to be able to affect with these products are some things that are flat out debilitating to people who are suffering from them. And they don't need to be tricked by people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because frankly, people are not smart enough to not take advice from a Hollywood actor regarding their health.
There's a more insidious level to this, which I don't blame Gwyneth Paltrow for, because I do believe that she thinks what she's doing is probably legit. I mean, she's got
that, absolutely
from the crystals and everything, so she's deep into that kind of angler thing. But to explain it, what's a good way to explain it is that, for example, there was one time when homeopathy was the best medicine available, and the reason it is because every treatment was awful. Medicine just sucked. We didn't know how anything worked, and generally, if you were ill or injured and you went to a doctor, your chances would be worse. So homeopathy came along, and instead of doing something bad, it just did nothing. It's like, hey, have some really diluted nothing, and naturally, you would actually have a better expectation of survival using homeopathy. And then we kind of invented double-blind trials and kind of figured out how you can heal a person. And now homeopathy is it's useless for that.
Provably.
Yeah, we know that it doesn't do anything. But there was a time when it was the best. Now, if you tie that into the fact that medicine has often been very misogynistic, and still is, women's levels of pain are always reported as less than men's level of pain, and you get shuffled into a doctor's office, they just talk to you for 2 minutes, like, hey, what's wrong? Let's try this. They don't. It's very, very non-personal, and there's a lot of women's issues that are not taken seriously. I know this for a fact because there's people in my family who have issues that are just literally treated as cosmetic when they are not cosmetic because they're related to pregnancy and stuff like that. So when Paltrow is selling these things that maybe they do something, maybe they don't, maybe they're dangerous, maybe they're harmless, she's selling something to a disenfranchised population, and it might be more appealing, and it might even be better than the experience you get from mainstream medicine, simply because the experience from mainstream medicine can be very negative. And that makes it quite dangerous, because ideally, medicine that works, that we know works based on the scientific reasoning, is what people should be using ideally. And that's not what she's giving.
Right.
So
no,
it's a bit of a mess. That's a bit of a rant.
No, fantastic point, well made, sir. Look, I think I should thank Carissa Brock, because even though we all started off chatting hilariously about Gwyneth's vagina, we have managed to bring it down to some sensible tone, and that was basically because of Carissa. So thank you for that, and also thank you for Port Ponky, because that was a very impassioned speech. I think it'd be pretty hard to disagree with it.
I just got it from my wife.
What about me?
Bobby, now's your chance. Off you go, mate. How much does this hurt?
How much does what hurt?
Go on. I don't know. I'm being facetious. Don't worry.
No, I agree. That's everybody's right on with that. I don't have any desire to speak further on Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina or the things that she puts in it.
Well, look, we've been talking about a contentious subject for a while. Perhaps we ought to talk about something a little bit lighter. So, Gay Jesus, Port Ponky, what have you got for us?
Well, Netflix got into a spot of bother in Brazil because of something they put up. Bobby, you've got the trailer.
Here you go.
You can run that. We'll have some context. No, there's like a roll.
Pelo silêncio, essa festa deve estar caidíssima. Deve estar um fracasso esse lugar.
Entra, a gente entra, que festa surpresa, não pode atrasar, vambora.
Não, Jesus! Jesus!
Eita. Meu filho! Uau,
Tudo bem, não é nada. Sai.
Quem é? Não vai apresentar seu amigo?
O que é quem?
Todo descabelado.
Você tá indo embora.
Mas e Orlando da onde?
Do deserto, pai.
Que graça, ela meia sabata.
Deus é muito bom. Criou o mundo em 7 dias e um tempo depois afogou as suas crias.
Tá vindo um papo chato pela frente.
Olha, eu sou Deus.
A vida tem outros planos pra você, meu filho.
Agora você tem outros desafios,
Não
né?
sei se eu quero novos desafios, mãe.
Vai com a mente aberta.
A gente tá aqui pra te falar que...
Eu sou seu pai.
Ô, filha da puta!
Você está dentro da sua cabeça.
Ele está bagunçando a minha vida.
Você tá louco? Vamos começar o amigo secreto. Essa voz.
Sou muito doido.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the first temptation of Christ, where Jesus, portrayed as a little bit homosexual, I guess, with a boyfriend.
I'd say so.
Turns up to his 30th birthday party, only to be given the news from God that, you know, actually God's your dad and there's plans for your life. This made people in Brazil very angry. It's a Brazilian production by a YouTube comedy troupe from Brazil. Yeah, and a judge, they took it to the courts, and the judge said, yes, this is very offensive. You can't do this. Take it down.
Wow.
Then I think they put it back up as well. And on Christmas Eve, someone threw a Molotov cocktail into the offices of the troupe that did the film. I don't think anyone was hurt. But yeah, that was a deeply Christian thing to do, I guess.
They don't play in Brazil, man.
Yeah, no, they don't. That guy was then wanted by the police and ran to Russia, where he's hiding out. So, good moves, I guess.
Wow.
Anyway, that's the story of that. This is a Christmas special. If you've got Netflix, you can go watch it right now. It's about an hour long, and it's pretty good. I got a good few chuckles out of it. It's not actually... So I thought it might be like... I've never heard of the term gay panic, like comedy where the joke is that someone's gay and then like a straight person is like, oh no, you're gay, I'm panicking. It's hilarious. It's not like that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I got a very strong kind of Life of Brian vibe from it. It's very much a satire with a pretty decent connection to the source material that's not making fun of it, just making fun with it.
Gotcha.
Well, this is it. This seems to be the sort of thing that would be great to watch. I mean, I'm going to have to get Netflix now to watch this, but that seems pretty entertaining to me. And I like the idea that they've sort of... It's a comedy, but it's not too farcical, you know, it's not too sitcom in the way that it approaches it. And it's sort of handling a potentially very, very risky subject in what is essentially a satirical way, which I approve of immensely. It doesn't really surprise me that the Brazilian government have spoken out about this, nor that 1 million Brazilians signed a petition. Although I should point out that 1 million as a proportion of the population of Brazil is a fairly tiny number. So rather than saying Brazil was pissed off about this, it's probably better to say some Brazilians were annoyed by this. And, you know,
special interest group in Brazil was pissed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey.
Now, realistically, it's only going to help, isn't it? This is like when Sony banned The Interview and suddenly everyone managed to go out and watch a copy of it. So it remains to be seen if this is just some big marketing exercise on the part of the company to actually take it down. Sorry, go on, Bobby.
Two things real quick. One, and this has nothing to say with the topic of what the show is about, but is there nothing that Netflix won't fund?
Ha!
A.
Yeah.
B. Zapaste makes a brilliant point in the chat, since he can't join us on the show for internet reasons. Dude ran around the desert with 12 other dudes and no women for years.
See, that's actually in it. Jesus talks to God about the disciples. He says, I've got to pick out 12 men. And God's like, well, they don't all have to be men. And Jesus is like, 12 men. It's quite good.
Jesus is like, it's the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
It's quite good. I will say, if this is what Netflix are funding, Goop Lab and the Jesus thing, they're spending their dollars wisely, because this has been like half a show, and we're not like a Netflix show.
Could it possibly be they're trying to get stuff people actually want to watch? I mean, it makes.
I've been a fan of Netflix
for years.
I'm in the box of people that say that Netflix's original programming has all been very good. I don't know what you guys get in the UK, because I know you guys have different regional settings, but the original programming line for the US is, I'd say, like at least 60-70% good. And then there's Stranger Things, which is just don't even, you know.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, everyone's noticed how like the best TV isn't from a TV station anymore. You know,
Absolutely
Netflix is
not.
famous
Yeah.
over here. We get pretty much everything I think you guys do, more or less. And it's just, yeah, I mean, I don't have Netflix at home, but even I have watched a whole bunch of Netflix stuff because it's that good. It's made it out into the wider sphere.
Have you seen Narcos, man? Has anybody seen Narcos?
Yeah. What's this? What's Narcos?
No.
It's about Pablo Escobar. It's a
nice
reenactment of the. It's a reenactment of the drug cartel operations by the DEA and the Mexican government through the eyes of the agents who actually did the stings and the operations. It's an excellent show, dude. It's killer. And so is Stranger Things, like I said.
Type 1 in chat if you just want us to talk about Netflix.
Because that's what I was thinking. The moral of this story is Netflix is pretty good. You should probably go and watch that, right? It's got some cool stuff. Even the Goop Lab's going to be interesting. I'll watch a bit of that just to see.
Oh, yeah, we're going to come back to
Gina, right.
Well, with Netflix, the one thing I've noticed is that they're reaching someone in their company is watching YouTube and the YouTube algorithm.
Absolutely.
Because they came out with they started with the different like Flat Earth and all of those documentaries. They went on to do the makeup documentary with the beauty gurus. They've done, I mean, everything that they've done has been what's on the YouTube algorithm with people's popularity, like with what the creators are getting seen for. So like the beauty guru one was really specific to me because they picked the beauty gurus to be in this original that had the worst reputation on YouTube, like James Charles, and put him in there because they knew that they would get views because people are going to watch it even if it's hate watching. So to me, they're very much trying to see what everyone else is doing and kind of make a hodgepodge amalgamation of things that reaches all the platforms.
Look at that. See, you've made this show actually sort of seem professional. We started off in absolute shambles. I'm going to have to get you talking over.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it right now.
Yeah, man, you're making us look awful. Right, Pop Punky, like, this was sort of your pet subject today. Is there anything else you wanted to add to this one before we finish up for the day?
Oh, yeah. The most hilarious part of this entire thing is that last year, the same comedy troupe on Netflix made a religious-themed Christmas special called The Last Hangover, where Jesus murders 3 people and some other stuff happens. Yeah, no one cared.
And that was fine.
That was way more offensive. This one is more mild and is pretty pro-Jesus. So, unfortunately, there are apparently lines that once you cross, people...
But there's gay people in it, so everybody just has to throw a fit.
Yeah, well, they had a million Molotov cocktails, so...
It's kind of heartbreaking, really, because, you know, regardless of whether or not you are or are not religious, it's pretty clear that, generally speaking, most Christians think that the one lesson Jesus was supposed to have taught people was this kind of golden rule about doing unto others as you would yourself and generally loving your neighbor. And all of these people who are so fervently trying to protect Jesus have completely
never follow it. All right.
They're just attacking these people. Shouldn't there be some forgiveness going on? Is it hypocritical for me to even say that? I don't know.
And what about the judgment aspect of it? Aren't you supposed to,
God.
you know? Yeah, let's not get started on the hypocrisy.
Yeah, that's too deep a rabbit hole.
That's a whole show.
It's the
far as I
same.
can
It's the
tell-
same. Sorry. No, it's the same. It's the same mentality that people have about like the American flag. They're so obsessed with the protection of the symbol that they completely negate what the symbol represents.
Absolutely.
Coming on 4th of July, there'll be a Netflix special about the American flag being gay.
And probably.
Excellent.
Yeah, I can imagine that would make people angry when it's a flag, though.
Right. It's a piece of cloth. But in people's you get this hyper it's just this hyper mentality of obsession, the hyper obsessive mentality of this is mine. This is what I believe in, but they forget what they believe in because they're so obsessed with making sure everyone knows that that flag is theirs. In this
That's
case,
one of the problems with
that-
nationalism, right there.
yeah, that this is my Jesus. You don't make my Jesus gay.
Yeah.
That they totally derail everything that idea and concept of Jesus's teachings the moment that they start allowing everything in their mind that's bad take over.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, look, I think we've covered that subject pretty much as far as we can. We're coming up on the end of the show now, so this is the point where I just want to go once around the table, give people a chance to have their final thoughts, shill anything if they've got to. Generally, here we go. What are your final thoughts for the evening? Let's start at the top of the list with Anthony Bailey. What do you think, man?
What do I have to say? Well, if you can't watch Netflix, NordVPN has the answer for you with hundreds of servers around the globe. At your beck and call. Watch anything from anywhere. Now, NordVPN, give us our money.
Right?
He's gonna
Sponsor us, damn
get
it.
free gifts.
Did you just give away a free ad, Tony? Come on, man.
Well, thank you very much for. I suppose maybe we'll get a notice now. Who knows? I wanted to start advertising when we actually got something to advertise. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, look, thanks very much for coming, Tony. I appreciate everything you've done. And look, people in the audience should know how much effort Tony's made this week, doing a whole bunch of animations for the show. Port Ponky had a furious couple of hours before the show as well, trying to pull everything together. Despite our slightly frantic start, I really want to thank the team for pulling together and making this one happen at all, because it looked like about 6 hours ago it probably wasn't even going to. So, right, let's see who's next on the list. Carissa Brock. I haven't come to you even remotely enough this evening. You've got any final thoughts?
Don't buy anything sold by a celebrity company that says that it's better than medicine. Ever. I don't care how gorgeous the person is. I don't care if it's Nathan Fillion and he's selling space alternatives medicines. I don't care. Don't buy it. Because even though he's God amazing, handsome and attractive, don't do it. It's just stupid. Don't buy the bullshit. Just go to the doctor.
Can I expound on that?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
She's right. A lot of these products, especially with things, not necessarily with Gwyneth, because I think she's a bit more hands-on, but especially in the field that she's talking about, where these celebrities they're basically called mouthpieces. Most of them have never even seen or heard of the product that they're doing their little 10-second spot for. They get paid an obscene amount of money to do it, and with no consideration for what's actually going to happen to those who might actually be stupid enough to spend God knows how much money on them. And it's just, I'd almost give it as a rule of thumb: don't buy anything sold by celebrities, because they don't care about you and they don't care about what they're doing when they say it. And that might not be true for all of them, but it's true enough for most of them to where I'm comfortable making that blanket statement. Thank you.
I don't have the decent rule of thumb. That's a public service announcement from Robert Leger there. Cheers, Bobby. Look, have you got any other final bits of shelling or anything like that you want to do before we move on?
I don't, man. Things have been pretty quiet. Everything's been on an even keel. Come join us in Marvel Girl and Radicals chats on Tuesday and Saturday afternoons for a little community chat. That's Marvel Girls Discord and Magical, the Unhallowed Knights Discord, every Tuesday and Saturday. See you there.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. Now, look, Pete Berube, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. What are your final thoughts for the night? And have you got any, like, you know, a little bit of shilling you want to do, or any public notices you want to hand out?
Oh, I don't know if I have any shilling to do. Let me see here. How about that?
Yeah,
I don't
Sci-Fi Sunday.
Yeah, so it's actually right before this show. I play some terrible old sci-fi movie that's gone under public domain because it's so bad nobody wants to claim it.
It's a fun time. Just sitting there laughing.
Yeah, half the time we don't even talk about the movie. It's just playing in the background. We're chatting about whatever the hell else.
Right.
But it's fun.
Okay. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for the Beetlejuice information. You're going to be back with us next week, I think, aren't you? Oh, I'm getting silence. Let's hope that's a yes.
So every
right,
Sunday,
don't panic. Moving swiftly. Oh, go
every
on, Bobby,
Sunday,
sorry.
every Sunday, Pete Berube, Sci-Fi Sunday.
Well said. Right, moving on. Who we got next? We've got Zaposte. Is he in the room? Is he in the chat?
He's in the chat, but he never got back in here to us.
Well, look, we're sorry we couldn't have him with us tonight. Apparently, there's a hurricane at his house as well. But rest assured, he will be back as soon as the clouds have cleared. I suppose he can give any sort of final bits of shilling he wants to in the chat, so keep your eye on there. Who haven't I spoken to yet, apart from Port Ponky? I think I've covered everyone else, haven't I?
Correct.
Lovely stuff. In which case, I'm going to hand it over to Port Ponky, because not only are you going to say goodbye, give us your final thoughts, but I think you've got something to chill out for after the show too.
Yes. So in that order, bye. Final thoughts. Geez, I mean, I agree with what Carissa says up to a point, because she also sort of implied that Nathan Fillion is resistible.
Look, I know he's not resistible. I understand this. I will buy anything that man chills. I will, because he's just too distracting.
You got to keep it in its
However,
original packaging. Don't use it. Okay.
Just don't buy it and then not go to the doctor because you think Nathan Fillion's gonna make you better. He can only make you better in so many ways. Okay, just saying.
Yeah, he's there for you.
I don't know.
Not literally, but he's on the screen, and if you're very lucky, maybe he's your doctor. Anyway, after this, I'm running some Sneaky Werewolf games in the Discord server for Sneaky Werewolf games. So if you like that kind of thing, or if you want to play, and you have a microphone, that's all you need. A microphone. That's a microphone. Then join the Discord right after this show, and plus about 5 minutes so that I can go get a cup of water. Then we'll be playing Werewolf, a social deduction game with elimination, where you have to figure out why the villagers keep killing each other.
The link is I put the link in the chat for the Werewolf Discord. Join us there to get in on the fun.
Oh, it's just genius. Go on, Carissa.
I was just saying, if you guys haven't had a chance to play Werewolf yet, I haven't had a chance to play with Ponky yet, but the game itself is a ton of fun. And it's a really good way to figure out just how well you can lie. I suck at lying, so I would lose pretty quick. But it's a blast. You guys, if you have a chance, go play. It's gonna be fun.
Ponky's putting a ton of work on some bots to make the game actually interactive and fun. It's a great time. Hopefully you guys come and pop with us.
Listen, you can hear from this, like, not a single person I know has played this game and not thought it was amazing. Like, it only gets positive reviews. Even if you're a lowly villager with no skills whatsoever, you get the chance to randomly kill your friends and colleagues around you. That's it. Going Discord public server. If you've got a microphone, you're in. Just join the voice chat, and you will pick it up as you go along. So don't panic about the rules; it'll be fine. Look, we've been around the table. We've done the adverts. I think that's basically it for the evening. We'll be back next week. Obviously, we'll have more interesting stuff to sink your teeth into. In the meantime, I hope you have a good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are. I've been Jim Bojo. We've been Going Critical. It's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from them. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Good night. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.